Hello again, everybody. It's me, Marcus, and I review stuff. Today, I'm reviewing the song The Headmaster Ritual by The Smiths. Comes as a request. Actually, many people have requested this song. People request the Smiths all the time on this channel, but this is one of the Smiths songs that has really gained traction and receives a lot of requests. So very happy to get to it. As you know by now, the Smiths, I'm a pretty big fan of their music. Took me a while. The first song I heard from them, I wasn't too into it, but as I've listened to them more and more, I've seen what a genius Morrissey was at writing lyrics, and what an amazing guitarist Johnny Marr is, and really have come to appreciate each of the bandmates as their own instrumentalists and what they bring to the songs. And so we do a Smiths reaction like once a week on this channel. Really love what I'm hearing from them. So definitely keep the requests coming in the comments. Let me know what else you want me to hear, listen to from them, or just whatever else you want me to listen to in general. All right, let's listen to this one, The Headmaster Ritual, The Smiths. All right, ready to go. That bass.
Belligerent ghouls run Manchester schools, spineless swine, cemented minds. So is the troops jealous of you, same old suit since 1962. Does the military two-step down the neck of my neck? I wanna go home, I don't want to stay. Give up education is a bad mistake. Midweek on the playing fields, surf watch you on the knees you in the groin, elbow in the face. Bruises bigger than dinner plates. I wanna go home, I don't wanna stay.
Love that guitar.
Belligerent ghouls run Manchester schools, spineless bastards all. So leave the troops jealous of you, same old joke since 1902. Does the military two-step down the nape of my neck? I wanna go home, I don't want to stay. Give up life as a bad mistake. Please excuse me from Jim, I got this terrible cold coming on. He grabs and devours, he kicks me in the showers, gives me in the showers, and he grabs and devours. I want to go home, I don't want to stay. La, 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 yeah. La, 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 la,
let me say, man, I can see why this one was so heavily requested. From a purely musical standpoint, guitar sounded fantastic. Just a poppy, high energy, snappy guitar there. The bass line, man, what an excellent groove from the bassist on this one. The drums added some nice rhythm to the song as well. Morrissey sounds great as always. I've really become acclimated to his voice. I think that was one of my complaints in the first Smith song I ever reacted to. Was I didn't care for Morrissey, but the more I've listened to his vocals, I'm like, man, this guy is on it. I love his vocal delivery and just what it brings to the songs. And so, from a musical standpoint, again, this one's just real get up and go. They don't waste any time. They hit you with it right there in the beginning, and it's a fun song to listen to. Just from, again, the instrumentation standpoint. You throw in the lyrics, there's a lot to be said about the lyrics here, and that's, again, if you've watched any of my Smiths reviews, I'm always talking about how amazing Morrissey was at writing lyrics, and to me, this one holds up. This one holds up, So, again, I can see why it was requested so much. This is a hell of a song. Really excited to talk about it. I'm always excited to talk about the Smiths when it comes to their lyrics and really dive deep and see what the song's about. So, let's do that right now. Let's see. Before we do a little bit of information here, it does say here that it's safe to say that nobody else before or since has opened a significant rock album by hammering the bejesus out of the capoed open tune chord that begins the Headmaster ritual before Morrissey enlightens us on abusive teachers in 70s and 80s England. Johnny Marr has called his riff what Joni Mitchell would have done had she been an MC5 fan. That's funny. MC5, like an old punk band, right? If I'm not mistaken. I know Rage Against the Machine did a cover of their song Kick Out the Gems, if I'm thinking about the right band. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The guitar riff was definitely something else. But anyway, we're here to talk about the lyrics first. So lyrics first. Belligerent ghouls run Manchester schools, spineless swines, cemented minds. Sir leads the troops, jealous of youth, same old suit since 1962. He does the military two-step down the nape of my neck. Very reminiscent just lyrically of Another Brick in the Wall, And so, man, England must have had some shitty teachers back in the day, and hopefully they've gotten much better. As a teacher myself, this song actually does speak to me a whole lot. But we'll talk about that here at the end. But very clearly saying, teachers suck here, man. Because again, to me, it's like they're as he says, belligerent ghouls. I love that, by the way. But spineless swines. This is the part right here. This is why they're so belligerent and spineless, is that they have cemented minds. They don't change. They haven't changed the way they do things. And so, and he says here, Sir leads the troops. So this teacher acts like he's in the military, right? That's kind of what he's getting at. Jealous of youth, same old suit since 1962. And so, again, as a teacher, I've met people like that. I've taught with people like that. Most kids don't like him very much, I will say, very clearly. They run their classroom like it's the military or something, right? They don't change. Again, they wear the same suit since 1962. He does the military two-step down the nape of my neck. I want to go home. I don't want to stay. Give up education as a bad mistake. So it's the point where, you don't want to go to school because this person's just a dick. Who needs education if I have to put up with this bullshit, right? Midweek on the playing fields, Sir thwacks you on the knees you in the groin, elbow in the face, bruises bigger than dinner plates. Damn, this teacher straight up just beating up kids. Did they do that in England back in the day? Holy shit. Somebody who lives in England, tell me, tell me how it used to be. Because, hell, here in America and certainly in Texas, I don't think capital punishment is the right word, but basically punishing kids physically was definitely a thing in the past, and it actually is still legal in some states if performed by a licensed principal or something like that. I think Texas is one of those states, if I'm not mistaken. My dad tells me stories about how he used to get paddled in school. So it's not anything I'm not trying to say oh, England, you're so wrong for this, when here in America we did the same thing, don't get me wrong. But this to me sounds like just straight up a teacher beating up a kid. So it's to my knowledge, I haven't necessarily heard stories like that from here in America. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. So, wow, yeah. Somebody tell me, let me know how it was. I want to go home, I don't want to stay. Belligerent ghouls run Manchester schools, spineless bastards all. Sir leads the troops, jealous of youth. Same old jokes since 1902. So they're not even funny. He does the military two-step down the nape of my neck. I want to go home. I don't want to stay. Give up life as a bad mistake. Ooh, to the point where he's maybe even feeling suicidal because he just he's having such a terrible time at school. And we've seen that before. Bullying has led to people committing suicide. Cyberbullying has led to people committing suicide. So pushing someone to the point where they no longer want to even live is just absolutely abhorrent. Please excuse me from Jim. I've got this terrible cold coming on. He grabs and devours. He kicks me in the showers. So, here he's trying to find a reason not to go to gym class because the coach is the same way, right? He kicks me in the showers, and he grabs and devours. I wonder if that's sort of innuendo that his maybe PE teacher is sexually assaulting him as well, which, again, it adds another darker layer to this song. But being the Smiths, being Morrissey, I wouldn't be surprised. One thing that I've learned from him in his lyric writing is he's not afraid to go there, if you know what I mean. Like, he's not afraid to approach controversial topics. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised. I want to go home. I don't want to stay. So, again, I feel like I have maybe not necessarily a unique perspective on this, but I can at least add something to it because I am a teacher. I teach 5th grade. They're old enough to kind of be their own people already, and that a lot of them have phones, a lot of them are on social media already, but they're still young enough where they're kids. They're like kids. And so, yeah, like I've met teachers kind of like this. Fortunately, none that I know of that have committed sexual assaults. Although when I was in school, there were definitely rumors of teachers who did stuff like that. But what I mean, I guess, is that I've worked with teachers who are definitely very like my way or the highway, very strict, and run their class like a military. Even people in my own grade level that I teach have done that. Where it's like. Where like their students will tell me, like, because they see the fun that we have in my class and how I treat my students and sort of the respect that we have for each other, and then they go back to their classroom and they're like, man, this fucking sucks, So I've had kids like tell me, like, man, I hate being in Miss Insert Name Here's class because she's just mean all the time. She's always yelling. She never does anything fun. It's like, all this other stuff, and I'm just like, damn, like I know that's how she teaches because it's the same thing every year. Again, same suit since 1962, right? It's the same thing, cemented minds. I've worked with teachers who just aren't open to new concepts, new ideas, new ways of teaching. New technology even. I mean, so many teachers I've worked with who just resist and refuse to change with the times. So yeah, I've been there. Luckily, like, I'm obviously, fairly young, and so I'm very open. Learning technology is easy for me. Learning all that new stuff is easy for me. And I just hope that I will always be that teacher. I don't ever want to be that teacher who is stagnant and decides, this is the way I've always taught it, so I'm going to teach it like this forever. I don't want to ever be that person. But again, I've worked with people like that, and I felt bad for I do feel bad for the kids in their class because it's never physical abuse. Fortunately, that's a thing of the past for the most part. But it's still like, as a kid, if you don't respect or enjoy like going to your teacher's class every day, then school sucks, and so many kids are turned off from education because of one bad teacher. I know I had a teacher, and he wasn't mean or anything, but he just wasn't a very good teacher, and it was a really important subject for me, calculus, and I've always been good at math, but because there's just one bad teacher who sort of let me fall through the cracks as an otherwise A+ student for everything else, it like completely turned me off. I originally wanted to be an engineer when I went to college and all this other stuff, and because of this one like bad teacher, I swore off calculus forever. And I was like, I hate this. I don't like math anymore. And it was like, I get how even just having one bad teacher can really shape the way that you approach education. And I do feel for the kids who have to go through teachers like that. I feel bad for the kids who have been taught by people at my own school. On the flip side, I've also worked with teachers who just have no discipline plan. They have no idea how to manage children or be friendly yet not forceful. What's the word I'm looking for? Like friendly yet firm. So it's like so their kids walk all over them, and they also don't like being in that class because kids do crave structure in many ways. So it's like finding that balance. Being a teacher is a lot harder than a lot of people make it out to be, especially when it comes to behavior management. I think that's kind of the biggest issue that most teachers have to overcome. But I'm proud and happy to say that I'm not like these teachers at all. I'm very much like I value the relationships I have with my students, because without that relationship, you can't get anything done. If your students don't sort of respect you or see you as a guiding authority, I guess, then they're never going to learn from you. But that respect doesn't come from putting your foot down necessarily, or like being tough all the time. It comes from showing them that you're a human being, that you're willing to change, that you admit when you're wrong. So that's one thing that I'm like I always strive to do. It's like yes, I'll be the first to admit I'm tough on my students. I'm firm. I know what they're capable of, so I push them to try to get them to that next level. But I'm also nice. I'm friendly. I try to be funny. I crack jokes all the time. I share memes with them that are appropriate. Stuff like that. So it's like when it comes to the rapport with students, I'm always like, that's always like my highest like thing when we're evaluated. It's like, you have excellent rapport with your students. I'm like, yeah, thank you. All that to say, like, to see teachers like this in England in the 70s and 80s, and to see how far we've come in education, because I'm not the only one of my kind, surely. There are other teachers who are even better than I am at things like that. It is great to see that we've sort of turned that corner and left sort of that abuse behind, although it's not gone for good. But most of the people who kind of cling to that style of teaching are definitely old school people, if you know what I mean. All this to say, lyrically, this one really spoke to me again, I think mostly because of my profession, but also just because it's well written. Morrissey does a great job writing lyrics. I just love reading and thinking about Morrissey's lyrics. The Smiths, they do a fantastic job. 2 thumbs up here from a lyrical standpoint. As far as the instrumentation goes, like I said, love the bass work throughout. That provided a nice groove to the song. The drumming was good. The guitar work, like I said, real punchy, real snappy. It really got you going, really kicked in from the very start. It jumped right into it. So the guitar was fantastic throughout, just a lot of energy. Really kept me jamming along as I was listening to the song. To me, this is like, this is one of the more faster paced Smith songs for me, much more rock oriented than I think a lot of other Smith songs are, but I loved it. So kudos on the instrumentation there. Fantastic job. Morrissey sounds great as always. 2 thumbs up instrumentally and vocally. As far as replay value goes, to me, this is a Smith song I want to listen to a lot. I think a big part of that is the bass and the guitar. Just a really fast-paced, energetic instrumentation is going to keep me coming back to this one. Not to mention, of course, the great writing by Morrissey, the great singing by Morrissey. Had a great time listening to it. It's for sure going on the playlist. And we're going to listen to it again. 2 thumbs up all across the board. Had a great time listening to this one. Thank you so much for everybody who has requested this one over the last few weeks. Keep the requests coming. As always, leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to get to it. I'll see it. I read every single comment still. It's hard. It gets harder, but, we're still doing it. If you want to support me, all the normal stuff you do on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. If you want to hear more from the Smiths, check out my Spotify playlist. It has every single song I've heard so far on the channel. It's in the description below. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.